The story begins with an apothecary, our hero, treating a child's wound. As he finished, the child felt better, the pain subsiding. The child thanked the apothecary and left. While walking through town with his shopping list in hand, the owner of the pawn bazaar called out to him, requesting his assistance with something. As they entered the bazaar, the owner revealed that he had something that might be of interest to the apothecary. Leading him into a dimly lit room, the owner opened the door. The apothecary was shocked by what he saw. A long-eared girl with gaping holes in her ears, her lifeless eyes staring into nothingness. Her body was covered in scars and she wore tattered clothing. The bazaar owner spoke, explaining that she was an elf, one who had been used until exhaustion and then discarded. He added that there were rumors about elves' bodies being used to create a universal medicine, though he lacked the connections to pursue it himself. He asked the apothecary if he had any use for her. The apothecary approached the girl, who was sitting on the ground, and began examining her condition. He gently unwrapped the bandages around her hands, revealing untreated wounds. Her frail body bore numerous scars. Her mouth held nothing but her back molars, and her right eye was unresponsive, while her left eye was completely missing. The cruelty inflicted upon her was unimaginable. He leaned closer and asked if she could hear him. Her only response was a slight tremble of her ears. Given her condition, the apothecary doubted that her internal organs were intact. As he continued his examination, the elf girl spoke in a weak, shaky voice, expressing a simple wish. She wanted to go home. Anger filled the apothecary's heart. How many times had such a simple wish been trampled upon? The bazaar owner interrupted his thoughts, asking if he was interested in purchasing her. He casually suggested that if the apothecary bought her, he could use her as material and even offered to sell her for a price cheaper than that of a farm animal. If not, he would find someone else to take her, as he did not want her dying in his shop. The apothecary's anger deepened at the man's cruel words. Without hesitation, he agreed to buy her. He then requested a carrying backpack to transport her home, which was on the other side of the mountain. Covering her frail body with a robe, he noticed her flinch slightly. Despite her fear, she offered no resistance. He reassured her that he would not harm her before securing her to his back to prevent her from falling. As he lifted her up and left town, he couldn't help but wonder how she was perceiving this situation. As he walked through the dense forest toward his home, night began to fall. Deciding to rest until morning, he set the elf down and loosened the robe around her. As he prepared food, he noticed a slight change in her expression. Perhaps being in the forest, away from the city, brought her some comfort, given the elves' deep connection to nature. As the aroma of the food filled the air, the elf's nose twitched. The apothecary scooped up a spoonful of soup and gently fed her. When she let out a small sound, he assumed it was too hot, but then he realized she simply liked it. Her eyes welled up with tears as she continued to eat, savoring each bite. When he asked if the food tasted good, she offered no words, only continued eating. Taking that as an answer, he continued feeding her until she had enough. Wiping her mouth, he told her to rest for the night. As the night deepened, the elf girl groaned weakly in pain. Her fever was high and worsening. The apothecary examined her condition, considering the possible causes. But ultimately, the reason did not matter. He needed to treat her first. He quickly prepared medicine to ease her fever, then carefully helped her drink it. Afterward, he placed her down again. She mumbled a few words and he gently reassured her, promising that she would be home soon and that she needed to rest. She soon drifted into sleep. As he sat beside the fire watching over her, his mind lingered on the words he had spoken to her. It was a big promise, one he wasn't sure he could keep. But he knew one thing for certain. He wanted to help her. After all, it was his kind, his own race, that had brought her to this state. For 80 years, the 5 races had remained in conflict. Though the apothecary held no prejudice against any race, not everyone was the same. The bazaar owner, who had treated this elf girl as mere material, was proof of that. There were many who saw other races as nothing more than tools to be used and discarded. He stared into the fire, gripping his arms as if holding himself together. In the flickering flames, he saw them, skulls whispering, calling him a murderer. He looked down at his hands stained with blood. The voices continued to call out to him, "Murderer." Then he awoke. It was morning. He found himself still sitting next to the sleeping elf girl. Turning to look at her, he saw her eyes sparkle in the warm morning sunlight. He gently lifted her, checking her condition. Her fever had subsided, though he knew he couldn't be certain she was out of danger just yet. Once again, he repeated her wish in his mind. What could he do to fulfill it? He resolved to treat not only her physical wounds but also the wounds of her soul, to help her reclaim the life she once had. It would take time and effort, but he had already made up his mind. Looking at her again, he spoke. You are deeply wounded, both in body and soul. I don't know what kind of life you had before, but from this moment on, I will give you a name. Risuri. A name that signified rebirth. He promised that he would heal her, that she would have a new life as if none of this had ever happened. Under the warm morning sun, the apothecary prepared breakfast. Calling her by her new name, he told her that the food was ready. After they ate, they would continue their journey. And so, their story truly began.